You hear the phrase financial freedom tossed around a lot, right? People constantly talk about having enough or, just being comfortable. But honestly, that's pretty vague. What if there was a literal exact finish line? Well, today in this explainer, we're diving into a source that actually reverse engineers a highly specific, powerful financial milestone. We're going to look at the exact mathematical threshold where the scales just completely tip in your favor. Let's get right into it.
Boom, $650,000. That right there is what we're calling the ultimate magic number for everyday earners who want financial independence. Now, yeah, that is a huge chunk of change, absolutely, but think about what it isn't. It's not 10 million bucks, and it's definitely not a billion. It's a very specific, carefully calculated target. And because it's not just some nice round $500,000, it tells us there is a precise, rock-solid formula backing it up.
So you're probably wondering why this exact number? Like why $650,000? Well, we aren't just going to guess here. In this explainer, we are basically going to act as financial detectives. We're going to unpack the exact mechanics from our source material piece by piece and figure out what happens when you actually hit this specific threshold. To see what that money unlocks, we really have to tear the formula apart. Okay, so to understand the math, we first need to define the engine that makes the whole thing run. I want you to think of wealth not as some big, dusty vault of gold coins just sitting there, but rather as a highly calibrated machine. Our source calls this the passive income engine. And just like a car engine, it relies on a few interconnected parts all working together in perfect harmony. Let's break down exactly how this machine processes that $650,000. The very first piece of the puzzle is the capital itself. But here's the catch. Our source is super clear that this $650,000 cannot just be stuffed under a mattress. It has to be tied up in productive assets. Basically, resources that are actively put to work to generate a financial return. It is literally the difference between static, lazy money, and dynamic, active money. Your capital has to be an active participant out there working hard to multiply itself. And when that capital is actually out there working successfully, it creates an output. We call that output passive income. But listen to the crucial word in this definition, entirely. This isn't money you earned by clocking in or trading your precious time for a paycheck. No way. This income flows simply because your productive assets are doing their job. It's the ultimate hack. Your capital is doing all the heavy lifting, so you literally don't have to.
Right, so now we have our engine built, but we need to know its operating speed, right? According to the source material, the real magic happens when we introduce a very specific catalyst, and that is an 8% return rate. Without this 8% multiplier, the math just doesn't quite line up to create that massive milestone we're talking about today. It's absolutely crucial. It is the bridge between the pile of cash you've saved up and the actual income you need to live on.
So when you line these pieces up in order, you get this beautiful, elegant equation. Step 1, you obtain your base of $650,000 in productive assets. Step 2, you apply that 8% catalyst. And step 3, the mathematical result is your sustainable passive income stream. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward. But that brings us right back to our main question. Why is the result of this exact equation so incredibly special?
Well, the answer lies in what that resulting passive income actually looks like in the real world. This is where things get super interesting, because we're stepping out of abstract calculator math and right into the reality of the American economy. The income generated by this engine isn't just some random string of numbers. It perfectly aligns with a universally recognized economic benchmark. It literally matches the standard financial livelihood of an everyday household.
And here is the absolute climax of our detective story today. The passive income generated by that $650,000 working at an 8% return perfectly matches the median U.S. household income. Just think about that for a second. One side of this equation represents a whole year of grueling 40-hour work weeks, commuting, and stress. The other side? That represents a perfectly calibrated financial engine just humming quietly in the background. Yet, economically speaking, they provide the exact same financial power. Mind-blowing, right?
Our source locks this concept in perfectly. Replacing the median U.S. household income is definitely not some pie-in-the-sky abstract dream. It is a tangible, mathematical reality proven by this one single equation. When you hit this threshold, you are literally buying back a family's time. You are completely shifting the paradigm from working for your money to having your money work for you on a truly sustainable scale. And that is exactly why $650,000 is the magic number.
So, there we have it. We've reverse engineered the entire milestone. You've seen the 8% catalyst in action, and you understand how the resulting passive income perfectly mirrors the median household.
The target is defined, and the mechanics are totally proven. Now that you know exactly how the math works for this magic number, the only question left to ask yourself is this: how are you going to start building those productive assets? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing, and I'll catch you next time.